the Earth was used up, we found a new solar system, and hundreds of new Earths were terraformed and colonized. The central planets formed the Alliance and decided all the planets had to join under their rule. There was some disagreement on that point. After the war, many of the independents who had fought and lost drifted to the edges of the system, far from Alliance control. Out here, people struggled to get by with the most basic technologies. A ship would bring you work. A gun would help you keep it. A captain's goal was simple: find a crew, find a job. Keep flying.
Hi, this is Cassie Moore. Saturday, the 17th of January, 2026. I'm doing a review of Firefly Season 1, Episode 4, called Bushwhacked. So let's get started. The crew of the Firefly found an abandoned starship. They go aboard to search for, any survivors, plus to see if there's anything to salvage to sell to make money. The crew found the ship completely abandoned with all the supplies and everything still intact, but initially they can't find anybody on board. They think that the ship might be abandoned, but as they keep looking around, they get uneasy because nothing was taken with them. All the goods and everything was left behind. And the crew sees evidence that the crew abandoned ship and possibly killed, but they can't find any bodies. They can't find that they took anything. And it was by an unknown assailant. If something was done, they found a guy by himself. He didn't have a name. He was pretty messed up, shaken. He kept saying "no mercy." That's the only thing he kept repeating. That's what the lone survivor kept saying. And River, the doctor's sister, was aboard, and she woke up around the time that they found him. She had had a bad dream saying that she could hear people screaming, but her brother, the Dr. Simon, kept saying that he didn't hear anything and tried to convince her that there wasn't any screaming. They find one lone survivor. The captain has some suspicions about this lone survivor and had the doctor drug him when they brought the survivor back to their ship, the Firefly, in the hospital ward. And the captain thinks that the ship might have been hit by possible reapers, as he tells his first mate. But he doesn't want it to get around quite so quickly. The captain believes that the lone survivor is becoming a reaper, possibly. This is a suspicion of his. They discover that the reapers were there and that the ship had been rigged. They find the bodies of the rest of the crew hanged and mutilated from a ceiling in one of the holds. And their Fireflies attached to the derelict ship. And if they try to leave the ship and, undock, it'll try to explode. So Kaylee, the engineer, is going to try to work her magic to get it unstuck. The crew finally did that because Kaylee's able to get it unstuck, and then that's when the Alliance cruiser comes, and the crew of the Firefly was taken in for questioning, and they also take the lone survivor in to the hospital ward of the Alliance ship. And this is where the lone survivor's transformation to Reaper status is coming to completion. River's nightmares, visions give her a brief insight to possible future, past, present possibilities and what might come. She gets flashes of what might happen. And just like at the beginning of the show, of what might have happened to the abandoned crew, which came to fruition, the lone Reaper, which he's now a Reaper, breaks out of the Alliance hospital while he kills the doctors that were trying to save him. It goes back to the Serenity ship and hides because that's the last place that he could remember before he became full Reaper. The captain, which is Malcolm Reynolds, is with the Alliance, and he tries to tell these soldiers that they have a bigger problem than trying to process them and arrest them, and gets the commander of the soldiers to take him aboard the Firefly to go look for the Lone Reaper, the Captain Malcolm saves the commander of the Alliance crew by killing the Lone Reaper, because the Lone Reaper tries to kill the commander of the Alliance. The commander, fortunately, lets the crew of the Serenity go, but keeps their stolen goods, which, of course, Jane was mad about. And the Alliance crew blow up the derelict ship and leave the area, like the Firefly did. They go their separate ways. The making of the Lone Reaper. These are my thoughts and opinions, just something that come to mind when I was watching. And being forced to watch his crew being killed and destroyed in that manner destroyed him mentally and killed his sanity. That's why he kept saying, "No mercy, no mercy." It was his mind breaking in real time. The self-harm and mutilation that he did to himself was a form of torture to alleviate the mental breaks that was in his head, and it was showing the collapse of his mind. Captain Malcolm of the Firefly looks back at the evidence and realizes that he was right, that he was seeing that this guy was becoming a Reaper because of the mental trauma of watching his crew die like that. And the Captain Malcolm tried to warn the Alliance commander and his crew what was coming, which came true. River's torture. Are River's dreams and nightmares visions? Are they warnings to help her to decode the subtle clues that she's seeing around her as she picks up on them? The lucid, coherent state of the moments she sometimes has with her brother and the rest of the crew. When she does have coherent moments, seems intermittent at best. And what else? What does the Lone Reaper represent? It's the total separation from society and from any family connection. The Lone Reaper, in my opinion, lost his entire crew, his sanity, any possible family he had on the ship, because it was a colony ship to go to the outer rim to start over. He had crossed into the darkness, and he didn't have any family to bring him back. He repeated, "No mercy, no mercy." He was going into the darkness, and that was no accident. The Lone Reaper represents the sliding into darkness, not being able to find his way back, the dark side of humanity. Is it possible not to be redeemed? Captain Malcolm killed the Lone Reaper to save the Alliance commander. What does that make him for taking a life? Good, bad? And of course, this earned Malcolm and his crew a chance to go free. And again, that made Jane mad because the Alliance took confiscated their stolen goods and wouldn't let them keep it. And of course, the derelict ship and the slaughtered crew represents what happens when humanity loses their conscience and loses all sight of sanity. Why does River not fall into complete darkness from all the trauma she's experienced like the Lone Reaper did? I think it's because she had her brother, Dr. Simon, who gave up his bright career and his family and everything in the inner core to become a doctor and save his sister from the Alliance's scientists that were experimenting on her. Her brother was her safe space. His love for his sister helped her have an anchor to reality. She could have just as easily went off the deep end like the Lone Reaper did if she had been left alone, or worse, if she had been turned into a weapon like by the very scientists that experimented on her. And what would that look like if she was turned into a weapon? What if the scientists by the Alliance had succeeded and turned River into a weapon? Just some thoughts to think about. The Alliance commander was new to his posting in the Outer Rim. You could tell this by the way he froze up when he was attacked by the Lone Reaper. And that's why Captain Malcolm stepped in and and saved his life by killing the Reaper. The commander was literally thrown into the fires from the frying pan on his first trek to the Outer Rim, and that's just my thoughts and opinions. That's it for now. Over and out.
So, I figure by now you've been over to the derelict. Seen for yourself.
Yes. Terrible thing.
You want my advice? You won't tow it back. Just fire the whole grime thing from space. Be done with it.
That ship is evidence. I'm not in the habit of destroying evidence.
Of course not. Be against the rules. I'm gonna make a leap here and figure this is your first tour out here on the border.
It's a very loyal crew you have there. But then I can tell by your record you have a tendency to inspire that quality in people. Sergeant.
It's not Sergeant. Not anymore. War's over.
For some, the war will never be over. I noticed your ship's called Serenity. You were stationed on Hera at the end of the war. Battle of Serenity Valley took place there, if I recall.
You know, I believe you might be right.
Independence suffered a pretty crushing defeat there. And some say that after Serenity, the Browncoats were through, that the war ended in that valley. Seems odd you name your ship after a battle you're on the wrong side of.
May have been the losing side. Still not convinced it was the wrong one.
Is that why you attacked that transport?
What?
Still fighting the same battle, Sergeant. Only those weren't soldiers you murdered. They were civilians, families, citizens loyal to the Alliance trying to make a new life for themselves, and you just can't stand that, can you?
So we attacked that ship, then brought the only living survivor to our infirmary. Is that what we did?
I'd ask him. Only I'm not sure he'll be able to speak with his tongue split down the middle.
With the chin up?
I haven't seen that kind of torture since the war.
I should have known.
You and your crew are bound by law. Formal charges will be transmitted to Central Authority.
Commander, I'm not what you need to be concerned about right now. Things go the way they are, there's gonna be blood.
Start fresh.
Get a line in.
Go.
Go. Hey.